is the Nurses Doing GAMSAT podcast, brought to you by Thankfully GAMSAT. We're here to teach you how to smash the GAMSAT, get into medicine, and become a flippin' great doctor. Hey, it's your girl Mare here. I'm excited for another episode of Nurses Doing GAMSAT. Today, I'm going to be focused on one question and one question alone, and that is the one question I've been asked about 55,000 times this week, and it is there enough time for me to prepare for September? And I got to say, there's many iterations of this question. It is like, am I crazy to register now? Am I going to have enough time to prep? What can I do to get started? All of these questions are kind of the same question, kind of rolled into one. So I'm going to tackle that, and it's going to be a solo episode just with me today, which is very exciting. Well, I say solo, but of course my cat is joining me, as with most episodes, right? Hopefully she's not a menace. And so let's dive straight in. Do you have enough time for September? And you are the only person that can answer that question, but I'm going to tell you so you can understand if you personally have enough time, because it's going to depend on how far down the rabbit hole you need to go with your study. So just like in any other time of the year, when you start studying, you don't want to just start willy-nilly and go, I think I need to do some science, and kind of just pluck a topic out of thin air and start Google searching it, because it's not really how it works. I want you to think about your study almost like when you go on holidays, right? Imagine you go to, I don't know, Bangkok, and you're at the Bangkok Hilton, and you want to get to the Bangkok markets. What do? You whip out Google Maps, and you type in your current destination. You type in where you want to go. So you're going to type in Hilton, you're going to type in the markets, and it's going to give you the most direct route you can take. You don't just start walking in any direction going, I wonder if the markets are this way. Am I going to make it before the markets close? I hope I make it so I can get my fake designer handbag, or whatever you're going to the markets for, right? And it's the same kind of thing with the GAMSAT. Like when you talk about it, we're in a different context. Like when you look at the analogy of going to the market, you'd be crazy to just start walking down the street and hoping you get there on time. So it's a good question to ask, will I have enough time? But the actual question should be, where am I now? Where do I want to be? So what score do I want? And then finding out exactly what you need to do to get that score. Like if we look at section number 3, just as an example, going, okay, what are my basic sciences like? Where am I up to in terms of understanding the knowledge, the physics, the chemistry, the biology? That's probably going to take 20% of your time. Where am I, most importantly, with my skills? What skills do I need to build? What am I good at? What am I not good at? Writing that all down on a list, and then going, okay, what are the exact actions that I'm going to take to build those skills? And I'm going to reference you to episode 3 of this exact podcast. If you don't know how to build a skill, episode 3 is going to tell you exact process to be able to do that. So you're going to list out everything that you're going to do to build the 1 dozen, 2 dozen, however many dozen skills that you need to fix. And only then are you going to be able to say, okay, I've looked at my diary. I can study 10 hours a week, 15 hours a week, 20 hours a week, whatever it is, and be able to link the tasks that you have dedicated to build each of those skills into the time that you have. And look, if you're on uni break right now, you might be able to study 20 or 30 hours a week, but then when uni goes back, you might only be able to manage 10 or 15 hours a week. So you're going to map that all out, link the skill acquisition techniques, so what you're doing to build the skill in those hours, and then, hey, presto, you're going to know, do I have enough time? Now, here's the thing that most people don't realize. Starting now, regardless of whether you're sitting September, regardless of whether you're sitting March, regardless of when you're even listening to this podcast, if you are looking at sitting the GAMSAT, it is impossible for you to start too early. It's impossible. The more time you have to build a skill, the better. Now, skill acquisition is different to knowledge acquisition. I can tell you as a skill, for example, I learnt how to drive a manual car like probably about 20 years ago. And I drove a manual car for, I'm going to say about 10 years, maybe a little bit less, 7 years. I don't currently drive a manual car, but it is a skill that is so embedded in me because I have learnt that skill and done it over and over and over again. Whenever I go to my father-in-law's house and ask him, hey, can I drive your manual car? I can't tell you how to do it, but my body knows. It doesn't forget. It's a skill. It's kind of like riding a bike. If you haven't ridden a bike in 2 years and then you get on a bike, but you rode one a lot when you were a kid, you're going to know how to do it. But that's very different to learning kind of something that you need to remember because we can forget it. So a skill and knowledge is different. So regardless of when you are listening to this podcast, now is the time to start. Even if you're just starting by mapping out what are the exact skills I need to fix, how am I going to fix it, and then mapping out a small number of hours each week to be able to tackle each of the tasks that you've got on there, you're going to be way ahead of anyone else. Because most people just deep dive and then start Google searching and then kind of start their studies with no end in mind. They're just walking the streets of Bangkok hoping that they stumble across the markets before sundown. And I can tell you right now, I've spoken to thousands of students in the past 18 years. People that take that approach usually don't get there before sundown. I'm using that analogy. But, if we're talking about the GAMSAT, they usually just don't get the results they want because they haven't mapped out so that they use their time in the most efficient way. No one wants to spend more time studying for the GAMSAT than they really have to. Like, real talk, no one's there going, this is the time of my life. I prefer to be here than sunning myself on the beach somewhere, right? So let's use the hours we have effectively. Now, if you are one of these people who has booked September and not started studying, please use this as your wake-up call. What the hell are you waiting for? You've booked it. Don't ask, have I got enough time? Dive in. Use this strategy. Now, if you haven't booked and you're wondering if you can or if you should, then take this weekend to look at what do I need to fix? How am I going to fix it? And do I have enough time to fix it within all the other things that I have going in my life, with work, with uni, with family, with cooking, cleaning, doing the laundry, kids, whatever it is that you have in your life. And if the answer is no, don't freak out. All we're going to do is stretch the same work that you would be doing for September to March, but it's going to be a little bit less per week. So it's going to feel a little bit less stressful because you're not trying to jam everything in. So I hope that was really insightful for you today. It's going to be a little bit of a quick one because we're answering one specific question. If you have any questions that you would like me to tackle, send it to the team. I mean, you can jump into the socials, send them a DM, or of course you can email us, just jump onto the website. And if this was helpful, of course, let us know. We love to see reviews. We love to hear from you all. And until next week, go and study. Have a good one, guys. Bye for now. Hey, I have a cool gift for you, just for listening to the Nurses Doing GAMSAT podcast. We do some of our best work in our Facebook group called, you guessed it, Nurses Doing GAMSAT. It's free to join, and every day we're sharing actionable guides, tips and tricks, and really just how to smash the exam and get into medicine. You can join today by searching Nurses Doing GAMSAT on Facebook. Thanks for listening to another episode, and I'll see you next time.